friends, I am Harshita Garg and I am just a student like you. And today we are here to do the chapter Work, Life and Leisure that is going to appear in Essay 1 in the history syllabus. So first we are going to get the first topic of this chapter, that is cities and the contemporary world. So there was a person named Durcharan Roy. He wrote a novel in 1880 that said that the gods made a visit to the earth. Lord Brahma, Lord Vishnu, everyone came to the earth and they were so amazed by seeing the railways and all those developed factories, the buildings and the courts, the museum. They were so impressed that they thought that they would make a museum and a high court for the heaven as well. But they were disturbed on the same side, as the shopkeepers were very cheating. They were saying the other shopkeeper you're gonna go to is gonna loot you, and they had lack of opportunities, and there were a lot of disappointments among them, and there were cheats, there was poverty, there was gender discrimination and what not there, which disturbed those gods. So this is the reality of these cities. They show very contrasting images, like the contrasting images are, on the one side the people are very wealthy, on the other side they are poor, lying on the road. So wealth and poverty. And the other thing is splendor. Wow, it's so beautiful, the beautiful railways, the beautiful factories. And on the other side the drains are open, it's dirt for the poor. So splendor and dirt. And the third contrasting image was opportunities and disappointments. So some people had opportunities, while the others, as you saw in the shopkeeper's case, they were all disappointed. They had lack of opportunities with them, so they were disappointments. So now I'm gonna tell you something about these cities. Although you know that the urbanization, the process of urbanization has a very, very long history. But the modern cities you see these days, like Delhi, the Bombay, the Calcutta, and even the London, they are just 200 years old. And the shaping of these modern cities went in three decisive ways. That was colonial rule. There was colonial rule all around. The British started making the colonial rule. There was industrial capitalism. That means, more of the industries were coming out. And the industries were making capitalism. And the third thing was the spread of democratic ideals. That means if one country became a democracy, then the others were inspired by that country and wanted to follow the example of that country. So there was a spread of the democratic ideals. So these were the three decisive ways in which the modern cities we see these days were shaped. And what are the important features of a city? That comes our next question. You can be asked, what are the important features of a city? Why learning about cities is so important? So cities actually play a very, very vital role in our life. Like, there are many modern cities. Actually, it's not that every city would be very developed and every city would be a high-tech city. It's not important. Some cities might be high-tech and some cities might be just normal, not having that much of technology in them. So cities can be densely populated and they can be sparsely settled, and they can be metropolis. They can be vitally developed. They will have very high-tech technology, metros running all here and there, and some with centers with limited power. Some centers are there, some technological centers are there, of course, but they are not having such power, and the city is not that much developed. So now we are gonna actually concentrate on the important factors of a city, a high-tech and developed city. It is a political power. Of course, if a politician wants to get elected in the elections, he's gonna take up every city, and his motive would be inspire every person to vote for him. Then it's also it's an independent unit of administration, and it's also very important in trade and industry. So trade and industry is going to follow up. Industry Then it's it has religious institutes. For example, if I take the example of Benares, okay, so it's having a very religious sentiment, and it's a very important religious center for people. So that's what is it attracting people towards the city. So it can also be a religious center in that case. So it can have religious institutions. I'm just gonna write religious because you can put up centers, you can put up institution, you can put up anything. And it's also a unit of intellectual activity. So these are the very important points of a city. Why is a city important? And why should we study about the city? Because it has some political power, and it's a unit of independent unit of administration. It has it has trade and industry in it, and it can also be a religious institution, and moreover there are people inside the city, so there's got to be an intellectual activity. So this is why cities are very important. And before starting the topic of London, that is the development of modern cities in London, that is Leeds and Manchester, I want to tell you a small trick by which you can, I'm going to give you short points. For example, urbanization has a long history. So I'm going to make a short point. Urbanization has a long history. So instead of writing urbanization has a long history, I'll just make an arrow and write long history. So how are you gonna expand it to one point? History is all about writing and what you can write it down in the paper and how you can expand your points. So by urbanization, you're gonna link all the topics related to urbanization. Urbanization we have studied with cities. So cities had urbanization, and urbanization arrow long history means the cities which are modern have don't have a long history. As I've already told you, they are just 200 years old, but the process of urbanization has a very long history. So you just want to expand the point so that you can write more in your exams. Then next thing which can also come in is shaping of modern cities in decisive ways. Industrial capitalism, colonial rule, and spread of democratic ideals. How are you going to expand it? So the modern cities, so it's related to cities, so you're gonna put the modern cities. So how were they shaped? They were shaped in three decisive ways. So you're gonna expand it like the modern cities that we see these days are not very old, they are just 200 years old. You're gonna add that point related to the modern cities. And then how were they were shaped in three decisive ways. That those three decisive ways are the industrial capitalism, the colonial rule, and the spread of democratic ideals. So this is going to give you more point in the exams. And of course, write more of the points so that you score more. History is all about points. Then the next is, the main topic that we are coming in is the industrialization and the rise of cities in England. Okay. So mainly in England, we are going to study about London. But first, before studying about London, we're gonna take a brief round of Leeds and Manchester as well. Okay, so I've made a small notes for all you so that you can understand more and more. So industrialization changed the form of urbanization. Of course, people were urbanized, but when industries came in, more of their demands were satisfied. More people were employed, so industrialization changed the form of urbanization. But one thing to be remembered in this point is in the modern period, even as late as 1850s, most of the cities in England were rural. So when you're gonna write that industrialization changed form of urbanization. This is a short point. So the long point that's gonna come into your head is thing contrary to this. That is, industrialization changed the form of urbanization. But though it was 1850, after in 1850 there was industrial revolution around that time. Still, till 1815, till that period, most of the cities in England were rural. So you're gonna take a contrary point so that you can increase your point. That is, more of the cities till 1850, even till that period when industrialization had happened, still they were rural. So that supports our point, that point as well, that cities are just 200 years old. Then, early industrial cities were Lead and Manchester. So our short point is gonna be this. Our short point is early cities in England. The developed, a little more developed cities were Lead and Manchester. And what's the long point related to that? It attracted many, the people who wanted job. That is, they were migrants. The people, many of the migrants were attracted to these cities because they had textile mills. So why were they attracted to these cities? Because textile mill had developed in these cities. That's why more of the migrants were attracted to these cities. So as long as you will remember the point, how was England developed, what were the industrial cities in England, you'll automatically remember the point that the people were attracted towards these cities. That's why they were more high tech, and they were attracted because it had developed textile mills. Then the third point is London was a colossal city with a growing population. So this is gonna be London is colossal city with a growing population. So this is gonna be our short point. What's gonna be the long point? So short point with growing population, I'm also gonna add. Okay, we had developed about Lead and Manchester. Now we are finally on London, and we're gonna praise the London a little by saying that it's a colossal city with a growing population. This is our short point, and what's gonna be the long point that's gonna come in is that it had 675,000 people in 18th century. So with a growing population in the 18th century, it had 675,000 people. So you're gonna make a very short point here because it's a numerical value, that's why. Okay, and then from 1810 to 1880, so just subtract 1810 from 1818, you get a 70 year. So how you gonna expand it? From 1810 to 1880, that is in 70 years, the population of London multiplied fourfolds. That means it grew from 1 million to 4 million. That's written in your book. So we are gonna make a short point here. 1810 to 1880, 1 million to 4 million. So how we'll increase that point? From 1810 to 1818, that is 70 years, the population of London multiplied fourfolds, because 1 into 4 will give us 4. So it multiplied fourfolds from 1 million to 4 million, so that you just expand the point. Okay, so it's written in your book as well. A powerful magnet for the migrant population, as Lead in Manchester was also a powerful magnet for the migrant population because of its textile mills. London was also following their example. So London was also a magnet for the migrant population. Here comes the short point, and we're gonna keep our trend of adding a long point with our short point. And the long point is even without large factories. So this is a contrary point that's gonna come in. Even though it was a magnetic situation for London, as it was attracting many migrant population towards it, still the contrary point comes in that it did not have that much even with small factories, not that large factories. So this also shows us the need, the people has some need for employment. So you can add this as well, because even though it had small factories, it did not have the large factories, still people wanted to come towards it, people came here for employment. It became a magnet. That means that there was a large need for people to be employed. So this can also increase your point. Then the last point is 5 major industries employed large workers. So it's a very big point, a short point, which is a big point. So I'm gonna rub this first and then tell you about it. So first I'm gonna explain you why I'm rubbing this instead of wasting the time. It has 5 major employment industries in which the workers worked. One is clothing and footwear. When you say, even if you forget these points, what were the 5 industries in which the workers worked? What were the 5 industries? You just gotta look at yourself. What do I need? I need clothes to wear. I need shoes to wear. I need wooden furniture, of course, to sit because I'm sitting in exam. I'm sitting on a table and on a chair. Then I also need watches to see the time. Then I also need objects of precious metal, like my mom was wearing jewelry when she left me to the bus. And metals and engineering, my bus was itself a metal which was made out of engineering. And printing and stationery, of course, this paper is a printed material and it's a stationery, and the pencil I'm going to use is a stationery. And the surgical instruments, you're gonna remember that the previous night I had gone to a dentist and he was using surgical instruments. So even if you forget, just you see that why are industries made. The industries are made to ease the life of a civilian. So if they want to ease the life of a civilian, they're gonna take care of all the demands of the civilian. So you're gonna see what are my demands and what have I been through. So this gonna give you these points as well, these 5 points. So you're gonna you can just apply a little bit common sense. It's not that you're gonna be all of the blank in the paper. But if you know a little bit of points and you apply your common sense with them, you can get a full marks. So, but still for now, I'm gonna write all those industries. So the 5 major industries in which the workers were employed were one. I'm just giving you an example. I'm not having a cavity, don't think that, okay? So these were the 5 industries in which the people were employed, and that's why they were driven out as a magnet. They wanted to have more employment facilities, and that's why they were coming to the city, London. Okay, so you already know that there was a time of the World War One. So what happened during that time? That's gonna form a really new point for us. A big point which you can add in all of your answers. So, during First World War, London began mass manufacture of motor cars, electrical goods. Industry accounted for nearly 1/3 of all jobs in the cities. So you know that during the First World War, there was more demand for things. So during the First World War, what London did, it began the mass manufacture of motor cars that were used for fighting, the motor cars and the electrical goods. Of course, guns were made, motor cars were made, fighting the planes were made. So, because the World War One was going on and there was a very pressuring situation in that time. And so, as they had to, do a mass manufacture of these things, the mass manufacture of motor cars and other electrical goods, and they had to do a mass manufacture. So of course, if you want to do more of manufacturing, then you need more of the people. So what happened during that time was 1/3 of the jobs in all of the city. There are many jobs available in the city of a shopkeeper, of a shoe polisher. There are many jobs of a domestic helper and many other jobs. And it was a great thing that 1/3 of the jobs that were provided in the cities were by the industries. So because they wanted a mass manufacture, so 1/3 of jobs for City of London. Okay. And because more of the people moved in, so the factories actually did not provide any accommodation facility. So when they started the mass manufacture, more of the people had to be employed, and then more of the people had to come in London, and then if the factories, if the industries they were working in were not providing any accommodation to them, then of course there's got to be a problem.